Pablo, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? JP, good to see you as well. Evening, brother. How you doing? How you been? Evening, Miles of CMF. Pierce, good to see you as well. How you doing, brother? How you been, Pierce? Well, XRP, good to see you as well. How you doing? Good evening. How you been? Good evening, Miles and CMF. Free and forever. Good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Funky brother, good to see you as well. How you doing? Good evening. How you been? Free and forever. Good to see you as well. Comatose, good to see you as well. How you doing, brother? How you been? Good evening, Miles and CMF. Tana, good to see you as well. How you doing? Tana, long time, brother. How you been? Sorry, just pouring water. That's what the noise was. Dennis, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Semper, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Joe, evening. Good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Orphan, good to see you as well. How you doing? Good evening, Miles of CMF. Good to see you as well, Orphan. How you been? Come good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? Thanks for the call earlier. No problem. Come anytime, brother. So, let's do a little breakdown of what we're going to go through on tonight's live. Mixture of news to go through. And by the way, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone that's been retweeting the tweets that I've sent out. So I sent out another tweet just before I went live. If anybody's seen it, go and check it out. If you haven't, check it out afterwards. So, on tonight's episode of the CMF Live, I mean, XRP is doing incredibly well for itself right now. I'm good, Miles. How are you? I'm doing great, Tanner. How you been, brother? Hi, Miles. Is it XRP's turn? It's starting to look like XRP's turn, yes. But this is just the beginning. As I said yesterday, I mean, these are just, a teaser of what's to come. We still haven't fired Gary Gensler, which is going to happen January 20th. We still haven't got the rules and regulations in and so on. The case is still going on. But, we're seeing the movement slowly starting to happen. Once Gary's essentially left the SEC, new SEC chairman, rules and regulations. XRP is the only cryptocurrency regulated alongside Bitcoin. Institutions and banks coming in. I mean, we're looking at a different price point. So this is just a little teaser of what's to come on XRP. Miles, last night we had so many positive news, and today we had a massive correction, or can we say liquidations? Well, not liquidations, not corrections. We haven't had a massive correction. I want to say a massive correction would be if we had some sort of, geopolitical tensions. Then we would have a massive correction. Even Miles and CMF, Manny, good to see you. So how you doing? How you been? Greetings, Miles and CMF. Hope all is well. Rocket. Let's go, Ray. So, on tonight's episode of the CMF Live, we're going to be talking about these topics. We're going to be talking about Coinbase and essentially launching the new Coin 50 index. Now, Coinbase wanted to launch this, a while ago, but because of Gary Gensler, they couldn't. But now knowing that Gary Gensler has no power, as I've said previously, the SEC chairman is the only SEC chairman in the American history. Gary Gensler is the only SEC chairman in American history to be the chairman of the SEC and have no power. Because if this man resigns, cases get dismissed and settled. If this man gets fired January 20th, which will happen, cases get dismissed and fired. So it doesn't matter what Gary Gensler does from now until January 20th, because he's going to be jobless either way, and the cases will get dismissed or settled. So as I said previously, Gary Gensler, the SEC of the chairman, is the only SEC in American history who has no power as an SEC chairman. Because everything he does from now until January 20th will be undone. Now, so we're going to talk about Coinbase essentially launching their Coin 50 index, which we were going to launch a while ago, but because of Gary, they couldn't. But now they're launching it again. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin mining, because that's essentially what institutions are going towards as well. We're also going to be talking about topic of DeFi technologies, introducing something quite interesting, quite revolutionary, because they're following the footsteps of MicroStrategy, using Bitcoin as essentially on their balance sheets, but they're going to be using a different cryptocurrency, but following the footsteps of MicroStrategy. Then we're going to go through the news topic of BitGet and UK. The UK is also slowly opening up its doors once again to the cryptocurrency space, which is absolutely incredible. Then we're going to be talking about the new HBAR ETF essentially being applied. None of these things would have happened if Gary Gensler still had a job, but because he doesn't have a job anymore, well, these things are happening now. These are all positive news. Then we're going to go through the UK again, more UK news to go for on tonight's live. The UK is launching something similar to tokenized bonds. but they're calling it guilt. So we're going to go through that on tonight's live as well. We're also going to be talking about Trump in terms of Richard Tang, the CEO of Coinbase, has came out with his perspectives on Trump's movements and regulations and policies for the crypto space moving forward, and how much positive Trump is going to bring to the table. Perspectives from Richard Tang, CEO of Binance, we're going to go through. We're also going to talk about Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin, a perspective from Monica, essentially Monica Long, the president of Ripple. And then we're also going to be talking about tonight's live regarding Ripple's lawsuit in terms of Gary getting fired and what's the next step. So, mixture of news to go through on tonight's live. Incredible news. I mean, it's all positive news. How could it not be positive news? You know, OnlyFans Kamala Harris lost her position in the race. Bullish. Sleepy Joe going to be retiring soon. Bullish. Gary Gensler getting fired. Bullish. FDIC chairman getting replaced. Bullish. Ripple case going away. Bullish. Rules and regulations. Bullish. Banks, more ETFs and institutions. Bullish. I mean, just moving forward, it's just going to be incredible. Incredible moving forward. Now, before we go for the first news, which is regarding Coinbase unveiling their new Coin 50 index, which is a very big deal, by the way, for the crypto space and connecting it to the traditional market space. But before we go for any of those news, I just want to say to everyone, welcome to the CMF Live. If you're watching this for the first time ever, it stands for Crypto Mouse Family. And this is episode 202 of the CMF Live, episode 202. This live starts around 11:25 p.m. UK time moving forward, essentially. Sometimes it starts around 11:30 UK time PM. But if you're watching this for the first time ever, I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world every single night. News on regarding cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about regarding the world completely transforming into a digital space. And it's transforming at a much more quicker, rapid pace than it ever was because of Donald Trump. And as I said previously, and I'll say it again a million times, thank God Trump won. Now, the disclaimer of this live, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. We also do live Q&As on this live as well, which means if you do have any questions, put it down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. And also, thank you so much to everyone that's been retweeting this live right now on X. I'm getting notifications. Thank you so much to everyone that's retweeted this live, who's liked this live, who's put a comment outside this live on X. And thank you so much to everyone on YouTube who's watching right now, putting a comment and also liking the live on YouTube as well. Thanks so much to both sides, X users and right now YouTube users as well. So let's go through the comment section first, and then we go straight into the first news, which is regarding Coinbase's Coin 50 index, which is quite revolutionary to think of it. But let's go into the comment section first. Let's see what's going on there, and then we go straight into the first news. So let's see where you were at inside the comment section. By the way, I read everyone's comments one by one. I read out your name, and then I read out your comment, and then give a short, and then essentially give a short, sweet, simple answer to get through everybody's comments. So I don't skip on any comments at all, because everybody's taking time to put a comment down. I want to read the comments in essentially. Miles, what's up in with Starling? From Starling? Sunshine, good to see you. So how you doing? Elaborate on the Starling poll. You talking about British pounds or the bank? Hello, Miles and CMF. Good to Addy, good to see you as well. How you doing? But Sunshine, elaborate on that one. But good to see you, Sunshine. Greetings, Miles and CMF. Hope all is well. Let's go, Ray. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Addy, good to see you as well. How you doing? Hello, Miles and CMF. Scott, good to see you as well. How you doing? Still in the hospital, but turning in. Let's go. Let's go, Scott. Happy Pisces. Good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Morning, Miles and CMF. Shelly, good to see you as well. Morning. How you doing? Evening, Miles and family. Ian, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Lena, good evening, Miles and CMF. Good to see you as well. Lena, how you doing? How you been? Hi, Miles and CMF. Stormy, good to see you as well. How you doing? Evening, Miles. It's been a long time. It has been, Maria. How you been, Maria? How's things? Good evening. Good morning, Miles and CMF. Ghost Runner, good to see you as well. How you doing? Morning. Good evening, Miles, and how are you doing? I'm doing great, Kelly. Good to see you as well. How you been? And he's only himself to blame, and you gotta wonder why did all of this. Essentially, just no need for it. Exactly, to be fairly honest, facts. What JP said, there was no need for Gary Gensler to do what he did. He's just a very spiteful man, which is going to be fired very soon. Will we see the price hit 0.5 again? And if not, which price is the best to purchase? Regarding XRP, I'm guessing is what you're talking about. Right now, it's still cheap. Look, if you're going to go for a particular crypto asset, let's just say in this instance, because the question is based on XRP. If you're going to go for XRP, if you're going for long term, then trying to catch it 3 or 4 cents cheaper doesn't make any sense. If you're looking at XRP for a 1 year projection, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, 6 year projection to borrow against it later on, use as collateral to skip on taxes, it doesn't really matter if you catch it 2-3 cents cheaper or 2-3 pence cheaper. So It depends on what you're going for. If you're going for short term, sure, if you want to wait for a little turbulence inside the market space. But if you're going for long term, 3 pence, 4 pence difference, it doesn't make much of a difference on the long term. So it depends on what you're going for. If you're going for long term, then it shouldn't make a difference. Even now, it's still cheap for what it's going to become. XRP is still extremely cheap. That's right. XRP is still extremely cheap for what it's going to become. So if you're going for long term, doesn't really matter at this price. I'll be honest with you. If you're going, don't try to save 3 or 4 cents more. Not financial advice in any sort of way, but just a perspective of me to myself. Even the Miles and CMF, Jason, good to see you. How you doing? So that's what I would say, Miss Samuel. Miles, is it good to invest in BTC mining? No, definitely not. Unless you're a massive institution, then it's not worth it investing in Bitcoin mining at all. Maybe 2009 was a good idea, but not in 2024. Share the live. Let's go, Scott. What's up, Miles? What's up, CMF? Kerry, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? The name Stalling Fragrance. The name Stalling Fragrance. What about it? Hi, CMF. Hi, good to see you. How you doing, Golden Dragon? I'm good, thanks. Hey, JP, how are you? Maria, oh, that's cool. JP, you look fantastic. Are we in a bull run yet? Your name is, okay, Stalling Fragrance. Stalling Fragrance, yes. Sorry about that. You look fantastic. Are we in a bull run yet? Good to see. Thank you so much, Sunshine, for the kind comment. No, well, here's the thing. We are in a run. We've been in a bull run since the beginning of the year, to be fairly honest. We're just very manipulated and corrupted bull run because of Gary Gensler. But this is a teaser of what's to come. January 20th is when things get very interesting. January 20th, when Trump takes his seat, is when things start getting extremely interesting inside the crypto space. Gary Gensler getting fired, new SEC chairman, rules and regulations, more banks, more institutions, more ETFs. That's when things start getting even more, a lot more interesting inside the crypto space. So right now, what you're feeling inside the market space is just a little small teaser of what to come. Yes, it's climbing. I'm holding for dear life. Are we about to get rich in this group? We're about to get extremely rich as time goes by. From TikTok, I remember Stalling. Hi, CMF. Denise, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? I remember Sunshine from Stalling from TikTok. Good to see you, Stalling. So you're using your business account, I'm guessing. Is XRP going to do numbers like Bitcoin? Is XRP going to do numbers like Bitcoin with the correct regulations and policies in place? Anything's possible inside the crypto space. What do you think about XRP? What do you think XRP might realistically reach? What do I think XRP will realistically reach? What I would say to that question is consider variable change. Look, when it comes to XRP, it's a very special asset, incredibly special asset that some people overlook and some people think it won't reach high numbers. What you've got to understand about XRP is, in the most simplest way, is nothing compares to it inside the financial market space. As I've said previously, XRP has no competitors when it comes in its own category. XRP will not do very good in the AI category or the gaming category. But if you take XRP, the asset, and put it inside the financial category, it's ranking number 1. Not a single asset inside the crypto space can compare to XRP in the financial category. And based on that, and based on the contracts, and based on essentially the amount of times it's been tested on, and essentially the amount of times it has licensings, and it's going to become the only crypto asset in American history to be regulated alongside Bitcoin, because Ethereum still doesn't have regulations. Ethereum doesn't have a category to put into. The SEC hasn't given Ethereum essentially a listing category. They've just greenlighted their ETF so they don't get sued at that particular time with Congress. So XRP is ranking on its own league right now, and it's going to rank on its own league for years to come. And realistically, it could touch incredible price points, is what I would have to say. So some people might say XRP will reach, $10. Some people say XRP will reach $1 and max out, $10 and max out, $100 and max out, or $1,000 or $10,000 or whatever. What I would say to that, a lot of people would say, well, XRP can never touch, $10. XRP can never touch $100. XRP can never touch $1,000. And the only reason people assume that is because people automatically run to the calculator. Whenever someone says to you, XRP will reach, for example, $100, everybody runs to the calculator on their phone, on their iPhones or smartphones, and they quickly type in the balance they are holding with XRP, and they times it to 100 and go, well, I'm going to be having 10 million or 100 million or whatever dollars. That's not possible. XRP can't reach $1,000 for me to have $100 million. It could reach those prices, and it probably will. But you won't most likely be holding $100 billion when XRP makes it to $1,000 is what's going to be realistically happening. Most people will sell out the moment XRP even touches $5, never mind, $100 or $10. So it can reach extremely, high price points. It definitely can. 1 billion%, I'm very sure of that. So regarding that question, essentially, Maria, what's going to realistically reach incredibly high prices beyond what you could possibly imagine. The question remains, though, are you going to be able to hold on to those price points, or are you going to be jumping out around $3 to $4? So whenever someone says to XRP can reach $1,000 or $100, and everybody goes, no, I don't believe it, because they run to the calculator, they add up their XRP in their portfolio and times it by $1,000 or whatever, and they come to the conclusion of, I can't have $100 million. That's not possible. It is, but you won't most likely hold up until $100 million. You're going to be jumping out $3 to $4. Not saying you are, Maria, but that's just how it is. That's why people find it very difficult to imagine XRP reaching high price points, because they see themselves with $100 million. But let's be realistic. You're not going to be able to hold on to $100 million. Most people will probably jump out around $3 to $2 from the retail section. So it is very heavily likable to reach those price points incredibly. And I said this before. Someone said, in a decade, do you think XRP can reach essentially, high figures, 4 figures, 5 figures, and so on in a decade? And I said 1 billion% guaranteed. 1 billion% guaranteed. From my own perspective, not financial advice for anybody else. But for me, I put out a tweet. Actually, perfect timing your question as well, Maria. I put out a tweet right before I went live. And on that tweet, I said on X that people always tell me, are you going to sell your XRP? And I say, hell no. Simple answer. I always say, hell no. I'm not going to be selling my XRP. The reason why is because I know what the potential value of XRP is going to become. And I always tell people that I'm going to be using my XRP to borrow against, to use as collateral to skip on taxes. So why would I need to sell my XRP? And I said on the tweet that I sent out right before I went live, I said, if people say Bitcoin is the digital gold and Ethereum is the digital silver, then XRP is the digital platinum. So why sell platinum? And I could borrow against platinum. Now, but yeah, that's what people essentially. I'm holding on for long term. Trust me. Let's go, Maria. Miles, what's the best way to DM you? You can DM me on X if you want. You DM me on X. I respond everywhere. You can DM me on Telegram or X. How long will you say we have to invest in XRP, XLM, XDC, ACH before the prices shoot up? Okay, I was asked this question again today as well, but it was on Telegram call. So regarding essentially the crypto market in general, you have now until January 20th. January 20th, when Trump takes his seat, is when you're going to start seeing more movements happening, with SEC chairman getting fired, new SEC chairman, rules and regulations, more banks, more institutions, more ETFs. So you have time from now until January 20th to do something inside the crypto space. Position yourself correctly. You have time from now until January 20th to position yourself correctly. Or from now until the first quarter of 2024 is what you can even say. But also, from now until January 20th, something might happen to cause the market some turbulence. For example, some geopolitical tensions before Trump takes his seat around January 20th. So keep that in mind as well. I revealed that yesterday, just in case. I mean, for example, the US has launched missile attacks on Iranian air bases in Syria yesterday. So if a war scenario breaks out from now until January 20th, then the market will see some turbulence, which means you could catch better prices as well if you want to. Because they might do it right before Trump takes his seat, just out of spite. Knowing, OnlyFans Kamala Harris and Sleepy Joe, you never know what they're going to be up to. I'm holding on for long term. Trust me. Let's go, Maria. Will there come a time where everyone will sell XRP so we can buy back at a low price? No. Well, people who understand what they're holding, essentially, when it comes to any asset, it could be XRP, it could be Bitcoin, it could be XLM, it could be XDC, it could be Solana, it could be Ethereum, whatever. But if you understand the asset you're holding and you're looking at if the majority of people have a long-term perspective, then no, you're not going to get drastic sell-offs. But also, here's the thing. Every time there's going to be a drastic sell-off, institutions will buy it. You got to understand that part as well now, because we're going into rules and regulations. When the US starts going into rules and regulations, the rest of the world will follow. Every country that was moving sluggish towards rules and regulations are going to be moving at a much more rapid pace when America is trying to become the capital of cryptocurrencies. America is going to aim to become the capital of cryptocurrencies, and every country around them always looks at America's markets. The Bank of International Settlements puts it the easiest way. If American markets sneeze, the world market catches a cold. Now, if the American markets are doing good, the rest of the world will also follow as well. So the US is going to become the capital of cryptocurrencies, which means rules and regulations and so on, which means more institutions and more banks will get involved inside the crypto space, not just from the US markets, but the rest of the world. So it's just going to be buy, 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 buy. Simplest way to put it. Every time somebody sells, somebody else will buy their positions like this, depending on what the asset is. If we do have drastic drops inside the market space, which is very possible, you've always got to consider as an outcome. Geopolitical tensions can cause, drastic drops. So if a war breaks out in the Middle East, a genuine war breaks out in the Middle East, then we can see drastic drops inside the market space. Or if essentially, we go through that bubble. So we do have some sort of a bubble, headed towards as well, the financial big bubble. So if that happens as well, then sure, why not? We can have drastic drops. So it's not something that you shouldn't, take away from the market space. Consider as an outcome, but not the outcome. And I've always said this: if you're unsure about the market space, it could be the market space is too bullish or the market space is too bearish, and you're unsure. Should I jump in? Should I not jump in? I've always said keeping 1 foot in and 1 foot out is the best scenario. Just dollar cost average in. If the market is too bullish and you're not sure if it's going to go even higher or if it's going to drop, dollar cost averaging. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Don't go all in, just in case we do, just in case we do see turbulence because of geopolitical tensions or any other scenarios. But 1 foot in, 1 foot out is always the best scenario. Don't ever sit on the sidelines. If you sit on the sidelines, you will miss out on the market space. I've been saying this for a very long time. Don't ever sit on the sidelines and wait for a drop. 1 foot in, 1 foot out is always the best scenario. Hi, Miles, CMF. George, good to see you. How you doing? Again, no, this is financial advice in a sort of voice, just my own perspective to myself. I have a small bag. I'm so happy. Let's go, sunshine. Let's go, Stalling. I witnessed today people sell XRP. Well, morons will always sell. Working between, well, some people will sell because they probably got bills to pay or something. Working between the many calculations I have read and understood from teaching mathematics, I didn't see it being lower than $200 or $300. This is a calculation I'm planning for my personal XRP holdings, and in profitability and statistically and analysis, it could be higher based on the proposed utility. Just my perspective is what Scott has said inside the comment section. Scott is a professor at a college or university, so he has definitely an idea of what's going on right now. And I agree with Scott. Facts, absolute facts. And you too. It's been a long time. Maria, let's go. I read the post before live, Miles. I agree with you. Let's go, Scott. The XRP is still cheap compared to it in the future, but how much do you think the price will go down again? If so, how much do you think it will go down to? The lowest XRP will probably reach again, it'll be around 39 pence. It will never go lower than 39, 38 pence. So British sterling pounds. In dollars, I would have to tell you otherwise, but in British pounds, I would have to say 38 to 39 pence is the lowest you'll see XRP. Keep on dropping too if it does drop too. The question is about the best price with a limited budget. So 50 to 60 range, we see it again. It's possible, yes. Geopolitical tensions can make you see those prices again. Not us, Miles. You've taught us better. Most of your CMF will definitely become millionaires. Let's go, Joe. Miles, what is your opinion about silver? It's a great asset. Silver is a great asset that will always, have appreciation value no matter what, especially in geopolitical tension times. So incredible asset. What about, but our most focus will still be on the crypto markets rather than gold and silver. As I said yesterday, this small little market space, the crypto space, is very small compared to what it's going to become. This small little market space is about to revolutionize every other market space around it. It's going to revolutionize the gold market and silver market in terms of tokenizations. It's going to revolutionize the stock market in terms of tokenizations. It's going to revolutionize bonds in terms of tokenizations. This small little crypto market space is about to revolutionize real estate market space, automotive market space, essentially rare metals and precious gems market space. It's going to change the entire world, this small little market space. So I wouldn't precisely say focus on, silver and gold. I would say focus on this small market space, because this market space is going to revolutionize everything around us, is what I would say. But silver is still a great asset, no doubt about it. What about BTG as a gold play? No. Not my cup of tea. The last message was for Joe. I didn't like this news site. I don't like this. Don't worry, Maria. I understood it. I have 7,000 XRP, trying to get 10,000, then I need to quickly buy some ACH, XLM, XDC, HBAR before January. Well, you have until first quarter, you know, but yeah, January 20th is basically when we're going to see a change happen inside the market space. The day Gary Gensler gets fired is when the market space, the crypto market space, is going to be popping champagne bottles. The day Gary Gensler gets fired, the crypto market is going to be popping champagne bottles, because this man has not only held back XRP, but this man has started 100 lawsuits inside the crypto space. And according to former SEC commissioners, the lawsuits that Gary Gensler has opened up inside the crypto space, all of the 100 lawsuits they've opened up, they're either going to be dismissed or settled. So the moment this man gets fired, everybody's popping champagne bottles inside the crypto space. Even if you don't drink, you just want to pop a champagne bottle because Gary Gensler has been fired. That's when you're going to start seeing some drastic changes happening inside the market space in terms of regulations, new SEC chairman, more banks, more institutions, more ETFs. We have so many ETF applications that Gary Gensler is not even looking into. We have 3 XRP ETFs. Gary Gensler has not even bothered looking into it. We have the Grayscale ETF. He just started looking into it. We have the HBAR ETF that happened today. He hasn't looked into it. We have the Solana ETF. He hasn't looked into it. So he gets fired. Gary Gensler gets fired around January 20th times, first quarter times. New SEC chairman, rules and regulations, more banks, more institutions, more ETFs for altcoins. I mean, we're going to see a drastic change inside the crypto markets. What you're seeing now is just a tiny glimpse of the bullishness we're going to see. When we move forward, it's going to be incredible. What you're seeing now, the price of Bitcoin, the price of essentially Ethereum and so on, Solana, XRP, everybody's going, wow, this is great. The market's doing some great prices. This is nothing compared to after Gary Gensler gets fired, with a new chairman, with rules and regulations, with more ETFs and essentially altcoins, more banks, more institutions, and not just America getting involved. The rest of the world will get involved. Every country that's been moving slow will start moving very fast, because the US is now leading the charge in blockchain technology. One of the biggest and wealthiest and strongest market spaces in the entire world, the US market space, becoming capital for the cryptocurrency space, is the bullish news you can pretty much get on planet Earth for the rest of the countries to follow in suit. So what you're seeing now is a glimpse of what we're going to be getting after Trump takes his seat and Gary's, fired from the window. Miles, but Shark, you're still good, but chop chop. That's what I would say. Hello to my CMF on YouTube. I hope that you had a good day. Let's go, Scott. Share the live. Let's go, Scott. If you can, at this stage of the game, if you're worried about price going up and down, always dollar cost average in on it. Facts. 1 foot in, 1 foot out is always here. It's always the best option. I'm here for it 100%. Let's go, Shelly. I have similar goals. Let's go. Let's go, Scott. Silver is brilliant. It's used in everything, phones, electric goods, and etc. It is facts. Okay, thanks for the answer. Now I'm calm. Let's go back. Hey, okay, thanks. A little better. I do not know. Oh, no, that's not for me either. Someone's having a conversation. I'll try that. Thanks. No. Okay, let's go straight to the first news. So first news on tonight's live is regarding Coinbase, because Coinbase is about to launch something they wanted to launch a while ago, but they couldn't. You know why? Gary Gensler. But Gary Gensler has no power right now. Even though he's still the sitting chairman of the SEC, he has no power, because he has to either resign or get fired. So he has no power. Whatever Gary Gensler does or tries to stifle from now until January 20th will be undone. So this is what Coinbase wanted to launch a while ago, but they couldn't. But now they're launching it. Coinbase unveils Coin 50 index to track the top 50 cryptocurrency assets. Coinbase wants to connect the crypto market space to the traditional market space as much as possible, which is a great idea because that's where all the money is. Coinbase has increased its products offerings and market domination in cryptocurrencies by introducing the Coinbase Coin 50 index. This new essentially index covers the top 50 digital assets listed on Coinbase. The Coin 50 index is developed in partnership with Coinbase's asset essentially partnerships with the managements and market vector indexes. The Coin 50 index is similar to the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 representing the top 5 countries, the top 500 companies, is similar to Coinbase's essentially Coin 50 index. It's the equivalent of a crypto asset for an S&P 500. It has certain fundamental signs of strength, making it a reliable measure for crypto economies and performances. The Coin 50 index is calculated in the same style as the market cap weighted index. The index is rebalanced quarterly to present essentially crypto market's current valuations and landscapes. Each asset in the index undergoes a evaluation based on token economics and blockchain architecture and security. This selective process fosters an investor confidence by ensuring only the most viable assets are included in the Coinbase Coin 50 index. The crypto assets that we do know that are already involved in the Coin 50 index for Coinbase is Bitcoin is involved, Ethereum is involved, XRP is involved, Solana is involved, BNBs, and there's a majority of cryptocurrencies are involved in this. So the future contract for the Coin 50 index with up to 20x leverage has been introduced by Coinbase. Eligible institutional and retail users in some jurisdictions outside of the US, the UK, and Canada will be able to essentially access this contract. This is expected to help and improve the index's liquidity and allow trading communities to participate in the crypto markets with legal protections. The only reason that Coinbase is launching this, essentially outside of the US market space is because Gary Gensler is still in position and they don't want a turbulence. After January 20th is when we're going to see Coin 50 index being launched in America as well. Moreover, Coinbase is also exploring additional avenues to enable broader access to Coin 50 index. They are considering very structured products and licensing opportunities, allowing other platforms and financial products to integrate into this index. Interested parties are required to enter into a licensing agreement to utilize the index data or trademarks for commercial purposes. This ensures compliance and standardizations across their use. The introduction of the Coin 50 index occurs during a wide bullish trend in crypto equities, enjoying a favorable political developments inside the United States. This is the only reason they're launching it. It's because of Trump, which is amazing. Besides, it offers a comprehensive benchmark for crypto economies and sets the stage for future expansions as the market evolves. With about 80% of the total crypto market caps currently covered, Coinbase plans to develop a broader index that aligns with the growing diversities and the size of the market space. So, Coinbase essentially launching their Coin 50 index is incredible news. Honestly, it's incredible news, Coinbase launching this, because they were afraid to launch it before because of Gary Gensler. But now Gary Gensler has no power. So, they're launching it. They're launching it straight outside the US. The moment Gary is sacked, they're launching it in the US, but they're going to be launching it outside the US for now to essentially bring some liquidity in and then straight away launch it in the US. And you know for a fact, everybody on Wall Street is going to be all over that. An equivalent S&P 500 for the crypto space, the Coin 50 index, everybody on Wall Street, every single high-profile investor on Wall Street will be all over the Coinbase Coin 50 index. Now, what we're going to talk about next is Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin mining is also a big field. When it comes to Bitcoin, the ETFs are absolutely massive for the institutions. They love the idea of a Bitcoin ETF. The whole of Wall Street does. And then you also have essentially the Bitcoin ETFs outside the United States, but you also have Bitcoin mining, which is an area essentially that a lot of institutions are aiming for as well. Sorry, especially that America wants to become the capital and wants to use Bitcoin as a reserve asset and wants to buy 1 million essentially Bitcoins to be controlling 5% supply of Bitcoin. Yeah, institutions in America are aiming for every sector they can involving Bitcoin. Bitcoin mining stocks attract Wall Street as BTC continues breaking all-time highs. Bitcoin is breaking records left and right, and Wall Street can't ignore it any longer. The money's on the miners now. The same miners who've been sweating it all year, barely staying afloat, are suddenly the hot tickets now. It's like flipping a switch. This is the new report that's came out, essentially, a report on Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin mining companies weren't doing that well. They were sweating quite a bit, but now they're doing actually exceptionally well for themselves. It's like flipping a switch. 1 minute they're getting crushed by regulations and essentially BTC prices, and the next they're riding this massive post-election Bitcoin rally straight to the top. The big players like Riot Platforms, Marathon Digital, CleanSpark are all on Wall Street's radars once again because of Donald Trump. Here's the thing, 2024 has been a roller coaster for Bitcoin miners. Pure play Bitcoin miners, the ones that our whole business depends on mining BTC, got hit hard this year. And Bitcoin itself on the slow, flat path without much adoption. but things are about to change. And then Bitcoin halving in April came along, slicing their rewards in half, just as they were struggling to stay profitable. Some companies even pivoted, moving essentially part of their operations to their AI data centers. They figured they'll chase AI money and get a little breathing room from BTC. But the pivot had its own downsides as well. Investors turned their eyes to Bitcoin ETFs, which launched in January, offering an easier way to essentially their BTC exposures. Mining stocks got involved as well, aside of it. But now, everything's flipped. Since election day, Bitcoin's been tearing up the charts, smashing records, and hitting highs we haven't seen before. It's got analysts buzzing. Mike from the HC Wainwright didn't hold back, calling it a compelling buying opportunity for those who are willing to bet on miners catching up. These massive upside potentials, he said, predicting a catch-up trade for a pure play. Miners who didn't pivot to AI and stayed true to Bitcoin are now reaping in the rewards. Investors, he added, who want to have the most bang for their buck when it comes to Bitcoin are looking at these miners because they are giving returns of 2.5 times higher than BTC itself during bull markets. That's not a joke. Just look at the Riot platforms and Mara platforms right now. Down 10% for the year, but Marathon's got a 3% gain, which isn't bad considering how rough 2024 has been for them. But the biggest surprise, CleanSpark, which essentially somehow pulled off a nearly 50% gain right under everyone's noses. And the diversified players like TerraWolf and essentially Core Scientific are making even more insane moves. TerraWolf is up 246% and Core Scientific is up essentially 407%, and which essentially used the Iris Energy and jumped 68%. So Bitcoin mining industry right now is booming because of Wall Street. Once again, Biden pushed for mandatory energy surveys and even floated a 30% excess tax on Bitcoin mining operations. He's getting rid of all these ridiculous tax options. It was a nightmare. Now with Trump back in the office, Bitcoin miners are expected a lot more freedom. Trump has vowed to keep Bitcoin mining in the US, giving miners a real shot at expansion. Everyone in the industry is throwing out wild predictions for Bitcoin. Matt Hugan, the chief investment officer at Bitwise, is making big claims. He thinks that Bitcoin could hit $100,000 by the end of the year. It probably can. And that's just a short-term guess. He's got his eye on $200,000 by the end of 2025. It definitely can. Bitcoin is now the price discovery mode after breaking through all-time highs, he said. He's not alone. Quinn Thompson, the founder of Leaker Capital, called the election win a regime shift for crypto. The market is realizing how just big a regime shift is on the way. There is also Chris Whetstone from Pepperstone Group, who's calling the current market conditions beast mode. These are all Wall Street heads. The people that I'm reading out to you right now, they're all Wall Street heads. One of them is calling the crypto market space right now beast mode. The other one's calling it, this is a regime shift inside the crypto space. These are all Wall Street members giving out their perspectives on the market space as we speak right now. And one of them is calling the crypto market space beast mode. Traders say essentially are piling up, trying to ride this bullish wave as far as it goes. Zahra from Split Capital thinks that this has become not only a huge winner of the year, but also almost a legitimate industry via the government. Joshua Lim, co-founder of Abelos, says that Bitcoin is in price discovery, making its uncharted waters with room to keep climbing. He's noticing more retail investors jumping in, feeding the rally with fresh capital as well. But it's not all sunshines and moonshots. The crypto fear and greed index is now at extreme greed, a level that is often foreshadows and corrections. Ali, a chart analyst, essentially pointed out that Bitcoin's soaring popularity might mean a big correction is coming. A pullback of about 30 to 50% was being estimated by one analyst. Consider as an outcome, not the outcome. He warned anyone essentially jumping in now should know the risk. Here's one thing. Some crypto assets, you could say, are doing incredibly well on price points right now. But there are still some crypto assets that are incredibly cheap for what they're going to become. You know, as I've said previously, Bitcoin is doing incredibly high. If you don't have a lot of money, I wouldn't suggest Bitcoin to anybody. I wouldn't suggest Ethereum either to anybody as well, because if you don't have a lot of money, if you have a small budget, I wouldn't touch personally Bitcoin or Ethereum. The assets I would be touching if I had a small budget, I would be going for XRP because it's still incredibly cheap for what it's going to become. I'll be going for XLM, XDC, ACH, HBAR. I'll be also going for essentially TON. I'll be going for Chainlink. I mean, these are still incredibly AVAX. They're still incredibly cheap for what they're going to become. But the other assets, they're reaching high numbers. And I'm not saying they're going to slow down in any sort of a way. They're probably going to go even higher. But I'm just suggesting if you're running on a small budget, touching Bitcoin, Ethereum makes zero sense. All you're doing is adding liquidity for others. If you want to win for yourself as well, then winning for yourself would be going for assets that are, still incredibly cheap for what they are. XRP cheap for what it's going to become. XLM is still cheap for what it's going to become. XDC is still cheap for what it's going to become. H4 is still cheap for what it's going to become. We even have a H4 ETF applied today from Canary. Essentially, TON is still cheap for what it's going to become. ACH is still cheap for what it's going to become. NEAR is still cheap for what it's going to become. There's a lot of assets that are still very, very cheap for what they're going to become. And if you have a small, tight budget, they're perfect options. Incredibly perfect options. No financial advice in any sort of a way, just my own perspective. The Biden administration may have been kicked out, but crypto is still waiting to see how Trump will handle the market's next moves. And the market is essentially very vulnerable to manipulation because there's low liquidity compared to traditional markets. A few big players essentially can move the market either way, especially during times of high trading or speculative mania such as this. What I will say to that is, once we go into regulations, the institutions are not going to be slowing down. I'll tell you that for a fact. The moment Trump gets to sit on that seat, January 20th comes along, Trump gets to sit on that seat officially. Gary gets fired officially. New SEC chairman is hired officially. Rules and regulations come out officially. Institutions and banks will be all over the crypto space because now it's regulated. There's no more gray areas. It's all fully regulated, which means the American markets will go head first inside the crypto space, and the rest of the world will follow because they don't want to get left behind. That's just how things work. Everybody follows the American markets, first of all. Everybody inside the corporate sector will follow each other as well, second of all. I've given many examples how people tend to follow each other inside the corporate sector. For example, here's another example. MicroStrategy. Now, MicroStrategy was the original OG, essentially, Bitcoin ETF. MSTR stock was the original Bitcoin ETF, where MicroStrategy will buy Bitcoin, keep it on their, essentially, balance sheets, and back it with their treasury, and essentially became the first, Bitcoin ETF inside the market space. But now we have a lot of Bitcoin ETFs. So why I'm talking about MicroStrategy is it's an example of other companies following each other inside the corporate sector. Once one company does something inside the corporate sector, other companies tend to follow it. MicroStrategy started buying Bitcoin no matter what the price was. And he said he's going to be buying Bitcoin. Michael Saylor says he's going to be buying Bitcoin at 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 120, 150. He's still going to be buying Bitcoin, just to put in perspective. Because institutions have a lot of money. They don't care about pushing the retail out. The retail will jump out naturally. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is why I'm trying to make the point that corporations tend to follow each other. When MicroStrategy did this, Metaplanet, a Japanese company from the corporate sector, started following their blueprint, which is buying Bitcoin back into their assets because they saw MicroStrategy doing exceptionally well for themselves. 2 Canadian companies started following the same movement as well. A few other companies around the world started following the same as well. Now, another company has decided to follow MicroStrategy's movements as well, but they're doing it with a twist. Instead of buying Bitcoin to back their company's assets with, they're buying Solana. So, DeFi Technologies creates a SolFi to be its MicroStrategy for Solana. DeFi Technologies, a company bridging traditional finance for cryptocurrencies by providing exposure to digital assets, has announced a new platform aimed at adding Solana to its balance sheet, something that MicroStrategy does with Bitcoin. They're following the same footsteps of MicroStrategy, but with a twist. They're adding Solana to their balance sheets. An announcement essentially that came out today, DeFi Technologies revealed it had created a spin-out entity named SolFi, which will focus on adapting essentially Solana into their treasury strategy. According to a blog post from SolFi, SolFi will offer investors direct exposure to Solana and its ecosystem, including essentially preparatory tradings and validator node operations and ecosystem investments. The company is looking to follow the footsteps of MicroStrategy, whose Bitcoin essentially strategy has inspired similar approaches across the market. For example, Metaplanet, who often referred to as Asia's MicroStrategy, after essentially acquiring substantial BTC holdings in the recent months, is one such example. According to DeFi essentially Technologies, SolFi will act as its MicroStrategy for Solana, allowing the firm to tap into Sol's ecosystem, high yield staking and growth potentials. SolFi plans to leverage capital structures and beyond essentially those available to the exchanges, to the exchange traded funds, to provide access to Solana's potential upside and cash inflows. In a comment from DeFi Technologies Chief Executive Officer Oliver Rosie Newtown said, so this is the essentially Chief Executive Officer from DeFi technologies. He said, the success of MicroStrategy has elevated exposure to the #1 digital asset in Bitcoin, and we look forward to focusing on SolarFi's digital asset strategy towards Solana from the ground up. Like MicroStrategy, SolarFi will generate cash flows from operating companies and tap essentially capital markets for creative financing structures that allow SolarFi to quickly grow its treasury and accelerate its staking operations. SolarFi will help DeFi technologies bring a value to its shareholders, he added. MicroStrategy recently purchased over $2 billion worth of BTC once again and added to its holdings. Right now, MicroStrategy's holdings are at 279,420 Bitcoins. The company acquired this hold since August 2020 and has spent approximately $11.9 billion. And MicroStrategy's founder, Michael Saylor, has shared that his treasury operations have seen a hit of BTC yields of 26.4% year to date, with shareholders receiving a net benefit of roughly 49,936 BTC. This is equivalent to 157.5 BTC per day, acquired without the operational costs or capital investments typically associated with Bitcoin mining. So they posted on X. So one company has decided to follow MicroStrategy's footsteps, but they're not going to be doing it with Bitcoin and adding it to the treasury of their company. They're going to be adding Solana, but it's the same blueprint MicroStrategy has left, which just brings us back to what I said previously, which is corporates tend to follow each other. Whenever any corporate company sees another corporate company doing something, good inside of any sort of market space, they tend to go for themselves. I want to get on, a bit of that action as well, and that's just what happens. But now imagine that times, 1 million, because we have an entire country who's about to go pro crypto. So when you have a company like MicroStrategy doing so well by, buying Bitcoin and, leaving in their balance sheets and leaving it essentially on their treasury, the back of their company's treasury. And then you see, 2 companies in Canada following MicroStrategy's footsteps because MicroStrategy is doing so well for themselves. A Japanese company by the name of MetaPlanet following their footsteps as well. And this is one company inside the corporate sector, which other corporates are now looking at and going, they're doing pretty well. We're going to follow their footsteps and get involved in blockchain. And that's just one company making this movement. Now imagine an entire country becoming pro-crypto, having regulations, having policies where banks get involved, institutions get involved, ETFs are happening in especially altcoins and so on. So times about 1 million of what MicroStrategy is doing is what the US is about to do. And this is why I keep on saying the prices you're seeing right now inside the market space is a teaser, just a small little teaser of what's about to come. Because if MicroStrategy can make 8 companies follow their footsteps inside the corporate sector, MicroStrategy can make 8 companies follow their footsteps. Just 8 companies follow their footsteps. Because they're doing well, those 8 companies want to follow their footsteps, MicroStrategy's footsteps, do well as well, and enter the blockchain space. But now we have an entire country, one of the biggest market spaces on this planet, is about to go pro-crypto with regulations, policies, banks, institutions, ETFs. The rest of the world is going to follow head first. Every small, medium, large company will follow the US markets, no matter what country they're sitting in. Every retail person will get involved. All the money will be flowing into blockchain. Not overnight, but it'll be going in steps. But either way, the money is going to be flowing into blockchain. But again, that's one company. MicroStrategy is one company, and it can make 8 companies inside the corporate sector. Just 8. Look at them and go, we want to get involved. Now imagine an entire country doing that. And not just any country, the US. Yeah, every country that's moving slow are going to go head first inside the market space after Donald Trump takes his seat and fires Gary Gensler and brings the regulations and policies. We're going to get more ETFs than ever before, more banks, more institutions, more money. So what you're seeing right now inside the crypto space is just a small little teaser of what's about to come. You're seeing all these high prices, Bitcoin doing high numbers, XRP doing well for itself today, Ethereum doing good numbers, Solana's doing good numbers, Dogecoin's doing good numbers, whatever, Chainlink is doing, Near is doing, everything's doing very good numbers. This is nothing compared to what's about to come. Because we have an entire country doing what MicroStrategy did. Times about 1 million. You'll probably get the right answer. Now, next news we're going to talk about on tonight's live is BitGet UK exchange. But before we go through the next news, which is the UK market space, the UK is also starting to move as well now. Okay, the UK is introducing essentially some new maneuvers as well. They're getting involved in tokenization. The UK market space is getting involved in tokenization. This is the effect of Trump. As I said previously before, thank God Trump won. Honestly, thank God Trump won. Because he hasn't even taken his seat yet, and the UK, who's moving sluggish, are now going towards tokenization. The UK market space going towards tokenizations. The UK was unsure about ETF market space because they couldn't process it of how an ETF was supposed to work. But they're going towards tokenization now as well because of Trump. This is what the American markets will do to the rest of the world. Now, before we go through the UK news, the UK market space, we're going to go straight towards the comment section first. Let's go through the comment section first. As I said, this is a live, which means if you do have any comments, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Now, let's go to the comment section first, and then we go straight to the next news, which is regarding the UK, regarding BitGet, essentially opening its doors to the UK, and the UK, allowing crypto companies to be able to operate in the UK as well. And then later on, we're going to go through the gilt and UK news as well, which is a form of tokenizations, but the UK is calling it gilt instead of tokenizations. It's a new concept they're coming out with. But let's go to the comment section first. As I said, if you have any comments, put it down. I'm reading everyone's comments one by one, giving you short, simple answers to get through everyone. I read out your comment and then your name. Or your name first and then your comment. Let's see where we're at. Glenda, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Maria says, I'm watching on X and can't message like I used to. Show you, is everyone watching on YouTube? Yeah, if you can't comment on X, then YouTube. You can watch on YouTube and you probably will comment. I don't know why that happens. LAT is also really, really cheap. That's true. LAT is also really, really cheap. Only XRP for me at this point. Let's go, Denise. Perfect choice. Hi, Miles of CMF. Mike, good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? How you been? Hi, Miles of CMF. Respect. Ripple, good to see you as well. How you doing? Hello, Miles of CMF. Peg, good to see you as well. How you doing, Peg? I remember a couple of weeks ago, someone asked you if he should sell everything because he heard that the bull run was over. Yes, that's true. A couple of weeks ago, somebody asked me, should I sell all of my assets? Somebody asked me, should they sell all of their assets? And obviously not financial advice. I said, no, hell no. I said, don't do anything stupid. Don't sell anything. And if you're unsure, just stay where you are. It's a better option because of the geopolitical tensions that's going on. I'm guessing the person that I spoke to didn't sell. Now he's doing extremely well for themselves. But yeah, when I was asked the question about a week ago, about a week or so more, someone said to me, should I sell all of my assets? And I said, hell no. But obviously not financial advice, just personal preference. Ripple, please don't give this information. Please don't give this information anymore. Your assets are yours to keep safe. Facts. Wait till they start using XRP to back their products. Exactly, Stormy. Miles, my goal is over 10,000 Velo. Your goal is 10,000 Velo. Velo's a good asset as well. Why not? The first 100 days of Trump in power will be very important for changes. Facts. Absolutely facts. The first 100 days are going to be incredible. Is it better to spread assets across my coins? Is it better to spread assets across my coins? You mean the other way around? Is it better to spread your coins, spread your money across your assets? Butch, is that what you're trying to say? Diversify? Sure, diversifying is good, but it depends on your budget. If you have a small budget, don't diversify beyond 4 assets. If you have a medium budget, don't diversify beyond 10, essentially, assets or less, 7 or 8 assets. If you have a large budget, then go wild. Do whatever you want inside the market space. Now, BitGet is what we're going to talk about next. The UK was moving very sluggish. That's only because our government is also very sluggish. Never mind the crypto market space, the UK government are incredibly sluggish in every aspect. Now, BitGet strengthens UK's presence with platform overhaul. 150 tokens. The BitGet platform has relaunched in the UK and is aligned with the financial promotions regime. The crypto exchange is offering over 150 tokens to crypto users in Britain. This makes BitGet the most comprehensive crypto platform in the entire country. The UK's #1 crypto platform is essentially BitGet at this moment in time. This relaunch comes at a time when the crypto exchange started its Pitchy No Slay initiative under its blockchain for her program. BitGet announced this to support Web3 women entrepreneurs by providing them with funding opportunities with over $100,000, along with exposure and guidance and mentorships. The extensive offerings of more than 150 digital assets for trading is ahead of the token varieties seen in other exchanges and other crypto exchanges. This shows that BitGet is committed to broadening operations for crypto traders inside the UK. It strengthens essentially the platform's base position ahead of other UK exchanges. BitGet is officially, the only UK platform, crypto platform, that has a full green light now. This comes in the face of the rising digital asset diversification demand amongst crypto investors in the UK. The relaunch of BitGet's UK platform is completely in line with the UK Financial Conduct Authority, the FCA, financial promotions regime, which underlines that all promotion activities should follow fairness standards and be transparent. BitGet's UK users can access a wide range of crypto trading and custody services. This also includes tokenized real-world assets. The regulated digital securities and exchange, Artrex, has also provided the essential local endorsements that BitGet needs to operate under regulatory frameworks in the UK. This endorsement fulfills of the offshore crypto exchange requirements set by the financial promotions regime. It will make ways for BitGet to enter the UK market space once again. Artrex is venting essentially BitGet's offerings and strengthening a crypto exchange compliance efforts and enhancing the security for UK users. Julia Lauder, the regulatory head at Artrex, said that the institution is dedicated to upholding the high standards of the regime and to provide UK investors access to transparent tradings and experiences. The CEO of BitGet, Gary Chen, said that this relaunch is a step essentially towards establishing BitGet as a long-term, compliant partner in diverse market spaces, providing investors with a platform to explore digital assets. Entering the UK markets will strengthen BitGet's global presence, which boasts more than 450 million crypto users from 150 countries across the world. So the UK once again is slowly starting to move because of Trump. Otherwise, they'll be slowly, still left behind, let's just say, in that perspective. But BitGet and the UK working together. This is good news, even though it is BitGet exchange, and maybe a lot of people don't use BitGet, and majority of people will probably use Coinbase or essentially Binance, for example, or MEXC or Crypto.com and so on. But they're opening their doors to the UK, which is incredible news, because it's only because of Trump. Honestly, the UK going once again towards crypto assets is because of Trump. So it's good, very good, trust me. We were moving so far behind everybody. I saw somewhere that Trump is doing no tax on crypto for 2025. No such luck for us in the UK. In the UK, no tax for crypto. You will have a better chance of winning the lottery 10 times than paying no taxes in the UK. Now, but there are ways to get around tax. If you use your crypto assets as collateral and borrow against it, you don't pay tax on debt. Always remember that. You never pay tax on debt. Everybody on Wall Street is doing that right now. There's a company on Wall Street that essentially is doing, everybody can put their ETFs inside of this company in Wall Street, or their Bitcoin assets in this company in Wall Street, and they're borrowing against it. This company has made over 1 billion in terms of assets in Bitcoin or Bitcoin ETFs, and they're borrowing to everybody in Wall Street because nobody in Wall Street wants to pay taxes. So they're borrowing against their Bitcoin or their Bitcoin ETFs and using it as collateral to skip on tax. You can do that in the UK as well. You can do that in any country. If you live in any jurisdiction around the world, you don't want to pay crypto tax. It's very simple. Use it as collateral, borrow against it. You don't pay tax on debt. You pay small percentage on APRs essentially. But the more you build that relationship with the platform or the bank, you're good to go. Now, Canary Capitals, if you want to skip on taxes, you could do that. It's very legal. It's all within the law. Canary Capital is what we talk about next. Canary Capital applied for an XRP ETF a while ago, which still hasn't been looked into by the SEC, but now they're also applying for a HBAR ETF. Incredible news. Now, Canary Capital applies to launch spot HBAR exchange-traded products. Investment firm Canary Capital has filed with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, to list and trade the shares of its essentially Hedera exchange-traded fund, or ETF. The filings from essentially Canary Capital submitted a form of S1 registration statement to the SEC officials for review, proposing the commission allow U.S. investors to trade shares of its Canary Hedera HBAR ETF trust on an unnamed exchange. The proposed investment vehicle, which essentially was one of its first to offer investors exposure to spot HBAR exchange-traded products, though the asset manager has also applied a list and trade spot XRPs as well as Solana ETFs. It is true. Canary Capital has applied for an XRP ETF for the SEC, But Gary needs to get fired for that to happen. They've also applied for a Solana ETF. Again, Gary needs to get fired for that to happen. And now they're applying for a HBOR ETF to the SEC. Again, Gary needs to get fired for that to happen. But we're not that far off. January 20th is not that far off. And the first quarter, he's going to be fired or he can resign. Now, according to the filings, the investment vehicle will not use HBOR-linked derivatives or future contracts that could put the asset manager within the preview of the U.S. Commodities Futures Trading Commission. Canary did not name an exchange for the listing, nor a custodian or a ticker symbol yet. HBOR, the native crypto asset of Hedera Network, had a market capitalization of more than $2.5 billion at the time of publication, trading at a price of around 70 cents. Canary launched the HBOR Trust on October 1st as a private offering to qualified investors. It's unclear whether essentially the commission will approve listings and tradings of spot ETFs tied to other crypto assets on the US exchange, following the approvals of Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs in January and May. Following essentially the elections, the US Republicans will control the legislative and executive branches of government starting in January, with President-elect Donald Trump pledging to fire SEC Chairman Gary Gensler. However, despite the criticism by many industries over its seeing regulations by enforcement's approach to crypto, Gary Gensler also voted for approving spot Bitcoin ETFs. The SEC Trading and Markets Division signed off on the spot Ether ETFs. Yes, it is true. Gary Gensler, at the time, January times, so at the beginning of this year, in January, Gary Gensler did approve the Bitcoin ETFs. He was one of the people that greenlighted Bitcoin ETFs. But that little weasel only greenlighted Bitcoin ETFs. I hate it when they miss out the actual part on the news. That little weasel, Gary Gensler, only approved the Bitcoin ETFs after he was sued by Grayscale. So, as much as they want to say, well, Gary Gensler is trying to look after the market space, and Gary Gensler did greenlight Bitcoin ETFs. He was the one that voted for Bitcoin ETFs. Yes, because that weasel got sued by essentially by Grayscale for rejecting their applications, for wasting their time and not giving them a reason. And then when they got sued by Grayscale and Grayscale won the case, that they come up with a reason of why they rejected their Bitcoin ETFs, which they couldn't, which then made Gary Gensler vote, yes, I want Bitcoin ETFs. That's the real story. So that little weasel, Gary Gensler, didn't greenlight Bitcoin ETFs and voted yes straight away. They had to make him vote yes. That's the part they missed out. Now, what we're going to talk about next is what I said regarding the UK. There's a lot of things happening in the UK as well right now in the market space, which is they're introducing something called digital gilts. Now, you might be thinking, what the hell is a digital gilt? It's something similar to tokenizations. So Switzerland right now is doing their third trial of their bond tokenizations, and a lot of other countries have done tokenizations of treasuries. And the treasury market space for tokenization has reached roughly about $1 billion, essentially. But the UK is now doing something called digital gilts. So we're going to go through that right now. Sorry about that. The UK plans digital gilts in 2 years. Is this the start of a new era for the debt market? The United Kingdom is to pilot digital gilts within the next 2 years, utilizing blockchain technology to improve the efficiency of its debt market space as borrowing needs grow. In a step towards modernizing the country's financial system, tokenizing these bonds, essentially the UK aims to make essentially trading faster and reduce costs. Sources familiar with the matter say Chancellor Rachel Reeves will likely detail the government's plans for blockchain gilts in her upcoming Mansion House speech. The Labour government is reportedly committed to modernizing the UK financial infrastructure and catching up with digital advancements, and have been very slow to embrace. The trials are set to essentially begin within 2 years. We will use distributed ledger technology, DLT in other words, the same tech behind essentially blockchain payments, to tokenize government bonds and government debt, making essentially issuance and trading efficient. A Treasury spokesperson stated, "We're committed to exploring technologies that can transform our markets, and digital gilts are a step towards a more accessible, transparent system." The digital shift comes as the government begins a £297 billion or $382 billion borrowing spree, the second largest on record, with high sales expected for years. The UK is the latest country to consider using digital debt, but they're calling it digital gilts. This comes after Slovenia made headlines with its groundbreaking issuance of the Eurozone's first digital sovereign bond. The trend is gaining momentum with big players like the European Investment Bank and the World Bank also turning towards blockchain and bond issuance. Do you see that? Slovenia, just to put in perspective, Slovenia in the EU went towards digital bonds. And the UK is following, the United Kingdom, is following the footsteps of Slovenia because they went towards digital bonds. Previously, what I said. Now imagine the US going full blockchain, tokenizations, ETFs, digital distributed technology. Everybody on this planet will be following them. Every country on this planet will be following the footsteps of the US when that goes through. When Trump takes his seat, new SEC chairman, rules and regulations, ETFs. Slovenia went towards digital bonds, and the UK is looking at the Slovenian market space and going, well, if Slovenia is doing it, maybe we should. Now imagine the US doing it. One of the biggest market spaces in this entire planet going full blockchain. Every single country will be following suit. Every single institution will be following suit. Every single bank will be following suit. This is why I say, when it comes to the US, times it by 1,000,000. If MicroStrategy can make 8 companies follow their footsteps inside the blockchain space, if Slovenia can make the United Kingdom follow their footsteps, what do you think the US can do when they go full blockchain? Times it by 1,000,000. The trend is gaining momentum with big players like the European Investment Bank and the World Bank also turning towards blockchain for bond issuance. The Treasury Debt Management Office, DMO, has also begun evaluating the feasibilities of blockchain-based gilts, with details included in its latest annual report. Due to the technical and regulatory challenges, officials are taking a phased approach to implementation. As a part of this, the initial trials will assess essentially whether a large-scale issuance of blockchain gilts is feasible. Moreover, blockchain-based sales to move forward, legislations may need to be introduced to Parliament. Sources reveal the minister essentially of the UK, a strong supporter of blockchain, has backed the project. He said digital gilts could improve efficiency and lower costs in the bond issuing process, helping the UK stay aligned with the future of global finance, she emphasized. The Debt Manager Office, DMO, remains cautious, pointing out challenges such as regulatory concerns and the need to essentially ensure market stability. DMO, a representative, said, "Our priority is a stable and efficient gilt market. While we are interested in the blockchain, we must carefully weigh in its benefits and risks. Financial institutions and experts are closely watching as well. The more towards digital gilts, supporters believe essentially blockchain could improve transparency and reduce intermediaries, streamlining debt issuance. The Association for Financial Markets in Europe, the AFME, has recommended that smaller trials be conducted first before moving to larger projects. The AFME also stated, a gradual approach lets the market participants fully understand blockchain impact and address challenges in controlled settings." Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, also weighed in on the UK going towards digital gilts. He said, so Michael Saylor, CEO of MicroStrategy, also praised the UK for their digital gilts exploration. He said digital assets are changing finance. Initiatives like digital gilts show the UK's forward-thinking approach. It positions the UK as a leader in the digital era. The UK plans to essentially pilot gilts in the next 2 years using blockchain, hoping the bond issuance are faster, more transparent, and cheaper. However, challenges like regulatory issues and market stability need to be addressed before full implementation. The phased approach with smaller trials first reflects a cautious but thoughtful path forward. As the UK joins other nations in exploring digital debt, the success of this project could position it as a leader. Global shift towards essentially digital finance. All eyes are now on the upcoming trials, which could shape the future of the debt markets worldwide. So, the UK introducing digital gilts, essentially tokenization of the debt market space. The UK is going to be tokenizing roughly about, in dollars, I'll tell you. So in pounds, the UK is going to be tokenizing the end goal of tokenization. So in British pounds, the UK is going to be tokenizing $297 billion. In dollars, the UK is going to be essentially tokenizing $382 billion. Now, obviously, they're not going to be tokenizing it like this. They're going to be doing small trials and then tokenizing the larger budget. which is essentially what the EU is doing or what Slovenia is doing, which is why the UK is following Slovenia. But it just proves my point even more. If an institution can make 8 companies follow its footsteps and Slovenia can make the UK follow its footsteps, what do you think the American market is going to do? What do you think the US is going to do to the rest of the world when they go full crypto? Yeah, times by 1 million and you'll get the answer, honestly. Then you will get the right answer of where we're heading towards. This is why I'm saying the prices you're seeing now, Bitcoin reaching new heights, Ethereum doing new heights and so on. A lot of crypto assets are doing new price points. It's incredible. No doubt about it. It's absolutely bullish and amazing news. But this is nothing compared to what's about to happen. Nothing. The prices you're seeing now are nothing compared to what's going to be happening. Now, what we're going to talk about next is Trump. But a perspective from Richard Teng, the CEO of Binance, talking about Trump and how Trump is going to help the crypto markets move even further forward. But before we go through the perspective of Richard Teng on Donald Trump, let's go to the comment section first. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have comments, don't be shy. Put it outside the comment section. I'm more than happy to answer the questions you may have. I go through everyone's questions one by one. I read out your name, then your question, give you an answer. But I do short, simple answers to get through everyone. Let's go to the comment section first, and then we go straight into Donald Trump and Richard Teng. Let's see where we were at. The first 100 days of Trump in power will be very important. Yes, facts. Is it better to spread assets? That's women. I saw somewhere that Trump is doing no tax. Oh, I read that one as well. CMF, please send likes. The 3 dots open. Like it, please. Let's go. Thank you for that, Golden Dragon. Thanks so much to everyone that's liked and retweeted this live as well. Mr. Mouse is so given and asked for nothing but a like. God bless. Thank you so much, Golden Dragon. That's true. I don't ask for anything. I've never asked for anything. Just a retweet and a like, whenever you want. But I don't ask for anything money-wise. Never will, and never. I will never do that. World is shifting to blockchain. Let's go. Facts. 2030. 2030. It's over. All blockchain. Check out the flow. Flying satellites. SpaceX tracker. Facts. What's up, brother Miles of CMF? Any XRP news? And yes, towards the end of the live, we're going to go through the XRP news. Why is XRP pushing? Because of many factors. One of them was essentially the meeting with Trump, and the other one was essentially Ripple's CEO. The other one was the other factor of the anticipation of Gary getting fired. Will XRP drop coming days? I want to buy, but it's so high now. What do you advise? And will it drop? Every asset could possibly drop due to geopolitical tensions. So keep that as an outcome. From now until January 20th, a geopolitical tension might rise. Don't keep it as the outcome, but an outcome to consider. But if you want to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out, is always the best scenario. Dollar cost average into it. Don't ever sit on the sidelines, just in case. You never know. Is what I would say. What about the CEO XRP? What about the CEO XRP? Billo, elaborate. Elaborate on that. Now, while you elaborate on that, let's go straight to the next news and then we'll come back. Also, Callie, thank you so much for retweeting and liking the live as well. Just got notifications. Thank you so much for that. Now, Trump. Trump wins fuels hope for the US crypto revolution. Donald Trump's nomination. Can XRP keep pumping to 1 to 2 from now? Possible if the momentum, it's very possible if the momentum stays, if it continues this way and stays, and Gary resigns. If Gary resigns, that's going to pump. XRP will be the first coin to pump. If Gary Gensler resigns, Joe, thank you so much for reposting as well. I'm getting notifications. I'm for liking the live. If Gary Gensler resigns, then the crypto market will pump in general, but XRP will be pumping the most because it's the one that's been held back the most. So if things fall into plan, then yes, we could see 1, 2, and so on very earlier on. If we don't see it very earlier on, then he needs to get replaced. Gary needs to get replaced, rules and regulations, and then when you're going to see the price getting pushed and pushed and pushed higher. So things need to fall in plan for that momentum to keep going. Or if you get geopolitical tensions, then that momentum is going to slow down. I hope that this is the case. I am taxed to death in this country. You said XRP is pushing because Gary's getting fired. About Ripple, Brad saying something bullish. Yes. Can Gary get fired at any moment? No. It's the anticipation. And it's also the anticipation that Gary Gensler can resign. Now, we're going to go into why Gary Gensler can get resigned, because So on tonight's live, we're going to discuss on the matters of Gary Gensler getting resigned. And it can happen that Gary Gensler can resign. And I'll tell you based on some sort of facts as well. But before we get to that news, we're going to go for this one first. Or he can fired when it's 2025. Yeah, he has to get fired when it's 2025. There's no doubt about it. Gary Gensler is getting fired in 2025. That's guaranteed. But he can resign beforehand. I'll tell you why once we get to that news. So, Trump's win fuels, what is the bullish thing about Brad said? The meeting essentially that Ripple's having or going to be having essentially with Trump. Okay, brother, thanks. No problem below. Trump's win fuels hope for the US crypto revolution. A perspective from Richard Tang, the CEO of Binance, that came out today. Donald Trump's nomination inside the 2024 presidential election is seen as a major win for the virtual asset sector. Industry leaders leading Binance's CEO Richard Tang believe that Trump's second term marks the beginning of a golden era. According to Richard Tang, this is the golden era of the crypto space. He's the CEO of Binance, and he's saying because of Trump, we're in the golden era of crypto right now for digital assets. With plans for a national Bitcoin stockpile and a crypto advisory council, the US is on track to become a worldwide leader in digital assets. Donald Trump's position on cryptocurrencies has undergone a big change. Although he once criticized digital currencies for being too volatile, his recent campaign shows a clearer support for the industry. He now wants to make the US the capital of crypto of the planet. His administration is expected to push for policies that could reshape the regulatory environments for digital currencies in America. Not could, it will. Trump's campaign received millions of dollars in crypto donations, including $7.5 million from Trump 47 PAC in Bitcoin, Ether, XRP, and other digital assets. This reflects the growing influence of digital currencies and politics and suggests that political support for the industry is increasing. Binance's chair, Richard Tang, has expressed optimism about the future of cryptocurrency under Trump's administration. Bitcoin's worth essentially soared after Trump's win, reaching new highs in the past year. The token's value has surged over 80%, reflecting the market's positive outlooks for digital currencies. This rise indicates confidence inside the US crypto market space and is growing, many thanks to the part of Trump's support. Trump's victory is backed by prominent figures within his administration who support digital assets. Vice President-elect J.D. Vance has been very vocal and advocate for digital assets. Moreover, Howard, essentially the co-chair of Trump's transition team, is connected to Counter Fitzgerald, an investment firm that holds Tether, a major stablecoin. With these supporters in place, Trump's administration is likely to push forward with crypto-friendly policies. Even according to Richard Tang, CEO of Binance, this man is very quiet sometimes, but even according to him, we're pretty much good to go. His own words were, we're in the golden era of crypto. Golden era of crypto. His own words, Richard Tang, CEO of Binance. And he said, because of Trump, we're in the golden era of crypto. It's an amazing time to be in crypto. Simple way to put it. Now, what we're going to talk about next is Ripple's president sharing essential insights on RLUSD stablecoin is what we're going to talk about next. So there's no real reason for XRP to pump to 1 and 2 in 2024 if he can't be fired. There are other reasons. I mean, if an ETF gets approved, there's multiple reasons that can push it to that price point. So, but geopolitical tensions is the only thing that can cause turbulence to get the price down. And there are some geopolitical tensions actually happening with the American missiles yesterday towards Syria, to the Iranian air bases. So if that geopolitical tension rises and they try to start a war before Trump gets the presidency seat, just to sit on the presidency seat, then that could cause some turbulence inside the market space. Now, Ripple president shares insights on RLUSD stablecoin demand. Ripple Labs' president, Monica Long, recently shared an update about the demand for RLUSD, Ripple's new USD essentially backed stablecoin. In a post on X, she highlighted the increasing demand for USD-based stablecoins, especially in Latin America. Monica Long stated that RLUSD is designed to meet this demand by providing a stable and accessible digital asset while securing transactions and storing value. Monica Long's comments come from the interest in US-backed stablecoins grows worldwide, especially in emerging markets. People in these areas essentially use stablecoins to send money, make payments, and save. RRUSD aims to offer a clear asset that appeals to retail and institutional clients seeking dependable digital currency options. Likewise, Monica Long talked about Ripple's plans to offer stablecoins linked to their other major currencies like the euros and the Singaporean dollar. This could help Ripple reach more markets and increase its use of their stablecoins in different areas, meeting various customer needs essentially. Also, she confirmed that RRUSD has clients ready to use the stablecoin as soon as it launches. This early interest shows that clients trust RRUSD and need stablecoin solutions in certain markets. As Ripple essentially gets ready for the launch of the RRUSD, Monica Long's comments highlights the potential impact of the stablecoin essentially market space in the financial landscape. According to Monica Long, the essentially RRUSD already has clients waiting for it to be used, according to Monica Long. As reported by essentially Ripple's CTO David Short suggested that the crypto will likely be accessible only to institutions. He indicated that this is the existing culture with other top stablecoins, citing Tether's USDT and Circle's USDC. The Ripple executive noted that he has never gotten these stablecoins directly from their issuers, but from only third-party institutions. David Short's statements responded to essentially on X users who asked if RRUSD stablecoin will be only accessible to institutions or crypto retailers. In this user opinions, restricting RRUSD to institutional access could protect stablecoins from certain risks. Some existing stablecoins like USDT are already facing these risks. It is true. USDT is being used by the criminal sector quite a lot. A lot of USDT has been used in illicit activities when it comes to Latin American countries, or illicit activities when it comes to the Middle East as well. But USDT is facing scrutiny because of that matter. In a press release, Ripple's CEO Brad essentially disclosed that Ripple's RRUSD is designed for enterprise use cases. It focuses on real-time global payments and bridging the gap between fiat and crypto. RRUSD will be stable on an on and off-ramp, enabling companies to move seamlessly between traditional financial systems and digital assets. The suggestion is that if Ripple, when Ripple essentially releases their RRUSD stablecoin, the reason why they might not be releasing it to the retail section, is because they don't want illicit activities happening on Ripple stablecoin. They're not saying everybody inside the retail section is going to be doing illicit activities, but they're saying the few bad actors can make the stablecoin's reputation go down the drain. So that's essentially why they're suggesting in that for institutions, it's less likely they're going to be using for illicit activities. USDT is facing extreme criticism right now because the USDT coin has been used for a lot of illicit activities. Now, each RRUSD token will be issued under a New York Trust essentially company charter. Impressively, it is set to operate on both the XRP Ledger and Ethereum blockchains. Notably, Brad mentioned that RRUSD will not go public inside the United States. This is primarily because the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, quite adversary approach to crypto assets. But obviously, now that Gary's getting fired, this is what Brad said in the past. But now that Gary's getting fired, then we're obviously going to be getting RRUSD inside the US as well. And I've said this, more than a few times, and I can't stop saying it either. Honestly, thank God Trump won. Simplest way to put it. Thank God Trump won. And thank God that OnlyFans Kamala Harris is no longer in the running. Genuinely. Now, what we're going to be talking about next is Ripple's lawsuit and Gary Gensler. What's the outcome of Gary getting fired, and what happens next is what we'll talk about next. But before we go through that news, let's consider the comment section first. Let's see what's going on there. And then we go straight into that news. So, as I said, it's a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down in the comment section. More than happy to answer your questions. So there is, already that one. Graham House and CMF Crypto Fab. William, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? JP says it's funny. Last year, everybody was saying how slow the United States is coming. And that's true. And crypto, look how much has turned around overnight, pretty much. What are the two biggest reasons why XRP can push the 2 to 3 in 2024 and why? Two reasons is by some miracle, Gary Gensler resigns. It wouldn't push it to 2, but it could make it reach 1. Or by some miracle, Gary Gensler essentially approves an ETF. That's also possible as well. He can end on a good note, but very likely. That's why I say by some miracle. And it's likely to happen in 2024. That's it. Trump just confirmed that Elon Musk will serve in the cabinet. Good news for Doge. It absolutely is. Incredible news. Incredible news. Honestly. How are you finding all facts? Let's go, Ray. Facts. Now, Ripple lawsuit. SEC chairman Gary Gensler. Where is it all going towards? Miles, I feel like when the market and XRP starts pumping, it goes very, very fast. Am I right? You're right. Yeah. To a certain extent, you're right. Ripple's lawsuit. SEC Gary Gensler. What's the outcome? And can Gary Gensler resign? The number one question inside the crypto space. The US Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC Chairman Gary Gensler, could step aside. It's possible. And we're going to go through some facts why it is possible for him to resign. So, a move that might positively impact the ongoing Ripple lawsuit. Recently re-elected pro-crypto president Donald Trump has previously essentially promised to fire Gary Gensler on day one in office. Knowing Trump, he will definitely do that, which is great. This has indeed put pressure on the SEC chair to resign before January 2025, while the XRP case is proceeding to continue. A notable trend suggests that Gary Gensler may follow suit, as past SEC chairs have resigned shortly after opposing presidents won elections. So if we compare the past with the SEC chairmen, when a new president is elected, do they resign or do they wait for the last day? Well, a notable trend suggests that Gary Gensler may follow suit, as past SEC chairs have resigned shortly after opposing presidents have won their elections. For instance, Mary Jo White announced her resignation just days after Trump, or essentially just days after Trump announced. For instance, Mary Jo White announced her resignation just days after Trump was elected in 2016. Or Jay Clinton did the same soon after Biden won in 2020. So, pro-XRP lawyer Joseph Murray, also known as Meta Lawman, highlighted this historical trend on X. He also essentially sarcastically tagged Gary Gensler and asked him to review his resignation plans. While some questions whether Trump can fire Gary Gensler if he doesn't resign, Murphy replied essentially and said the Supreme Court has not had the occasion to rule on this question because SEC chairmen have followed tradition and resigned upon change of administrations. He added that but a few essentially justices, the Harvard Law Review and the Yale Journal regulations believe that the president does have the essential authority to fire the SEC chairman if it comes to that, which he will. Adding fuel to speculation, Gary Gensler's resignation could have implications for Ripple's 4-year-long battle with the SEC. In the Ripple lawsuit appeals phase, the SEC is contesting that Judge Torres' ruling XRP tokens. Ripple's cross-appeal filed on October 10 further complicates the proceedings. With a shift in leadership, however, some analysts suggest that the SEC's aggressive crypto enforcement stance might soften or go away. There have already been SEC members, not just former SEC members, but current SEC commissioners, who have came forward in front of Congress and said, this is not the SEC's agenda to go after crypto companies. This is the chairman's agenda to go after crypto companies. So it's not just that the SEC will soften when it comes to crypto assets. They're going to get rid of them. It's dismiss or settle the cases. That's what's going to be happening. Because even current SEC commissioners have came forward in front of Gary Gensler, in front of Congress, and have said, this is not the SEC's essentially agenda to go after crypto companies by enforcement. This is the chairman's agenda to do this. And this was Hester Pierce. She's the one that said this from the SEC. Ripple's cross appeal essentially on that matter. Now, if Gensler essentially voluntarily resigns, if Gary Gensler voluntarily resigns, it may pave the way for more crypto-friendly approaches within the SEC and potentially favor Ripple. It definitely will. For the crypto community, Gary Gensler's possible departure raises hopes for resolutions to Ripple's lengthy legal struggles and signals a possible shift inside the US crypto policies. And it definitely will. So, has there been in the past people leaving when a new president is chosen and the SEC chairman resigned? Yes. Typically, the SEC chairmen resign about 3 days or 4 days before the president takes their seat. So if we want to put that in perspective, knowing Gary Gensler is the type of man to waste everybody's time and appeal a case last minute. He's just a complete arse for that, but that's what he does. So knowing Gary Gensler, he's probably going to be waiting for the last minutes and seconds to probably resign from the cases, to resign from the SEC chairmanship. But in the past, there has been resignations a few days beforehand. Now, which is very likely to happen again. But Gary Gensler is one incredible top weasel. And you never know what this weasel is thinking. And he knows for a fact these cases are going to get tossed out. Yo, Miles, Knox, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Miles, I feel like when the markets on XRP start pumping, it goes very, very fast. Am I right? Yes, you will. I think Trump will offer Gary Gensler a job as a golf caddy. Maybe. Apparently, Gary Gensler has already been offered a new job to work for Tron, apparently. Did Brad essentially sit down with Trump? Did they meet? It's been rumored that he has, yes. Miles, Bill, brother, hold on tight to your XRP bags. Miles, people on X are saying that Brad meet Trump. Is this true? It's rumored. It's rumored. It's rumored only. We haven't heard a boo from Gary Gensler lately. It is true. We haven't heard a peep from Gary Gensler, to be fairly honest. This man used to be very vocal. Now, very silent. I wonder why. Gary Gensler is dreading it right now. I still think he will resign. I don't think he wants to leave by getting fired from Trump. I don't think either. Look, even though he's an incredible weasel, I don't think this weasel, Gary Gensler, is going to wait until Trump fires him. I think it's because he's going to resign. Gary Gensler has to resign, but he won't resign now. Knowing this weasel, he won't resign now. This weasel is going to wait till the last minute to resign. The same way he waited to the last minute for the SEC, for the Ripple case to appeal the case. He waited to the last minute. And I know for a fact that this weasel is probably going to wait for the last minute. But here's the thing. We know he's going to get fired. So either way, let's just celebrate from now on. Is that the reason XRP is bumping? One of the reasons, yes. But I mean, we know he's going to get fired anyways. Now, also, sorry to say, but all good things must come to an end, which they have now. If anybody's got last minute questions, go for it. But we have ended up, this is the endings of this live show right now. Brad liked a post where it says he met with Trump. Does this mean they met? It's possible. It is possible. Look, a sit down with Trump is very likely. A sit down, Ripple sit down with Trump is very likely. Very likely. Incredibly likely. After Christmas, yeah. After Christmas, he's getting fired, yeah. It's like a Christmas gift when Gary Gensler gets fired. But a sit down with Trump is incredibly likely. And as I said before, as I said yesterday, if you are an XRP hater in any sort of a way, you're going to be crying. I'll be very honest with you. You know, some people would swear at XRP haters and say you're a hater. So, well, the simplest way is, if you miss out on XRP, you're going to be crying. There's no way around it. Don't miss out on XRP, is what I'm trying to say. Research if you haven't researched it properly. I was saying this yesterday. It's going to become the only crypto asset. XRP is going to become the only crypto asset in American history to have a category alongside Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the only crypto asset that has a category to be in. It's regulated. Bitcoin is the only crypto asset that's regulated in America. Ethereum, not really regulated. It's on some shaky grounds. Has an ETF, but it's not regulated. XRP is going to become the second crypto asset regulated in American history. It has the most amount of contracts, the most amount of licensings. It's well more established within banks and institutions. It's an asset that everybody has to look into if you still haven't. And if people are telling you your asset XRP is never going to touch high numbers, never going to do well for itself, as I said previously, people criticize people, but people's opinions don't matter. Simplest way to put it. I've always said this, everybody's entitled to an opinion. Everybody on this planet is entitled to an opinion, but opinions are not correct, and facts are facts. When do you think Gary Gensler will get fired? When do you think will happen SEC Ripple settlements? Next year, everything's going to be settled. It's either going to be settled or dismissed. Thank you, Miles, and good night to all CMF. Mike, see you tomorrow, but same time as usual. Good night, Miles and family. Great live. Many thanks. See you tomorrow. Ian, see you tomorrow, but same time as usual. Thanks for the live, brother. Camel, let's go. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. No way, that's the end. Well done. Good show then. Take care, Miles and CMF. Ray, see you tomorrow, but same time as usual. Thanks, Miles. Good night. And CMF, see you tomorrow. Orphan, see you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. Good night, Miles and family. Great live. Many thanks. See you tomorrow. Ian, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. We have reached the endings of tonight's live. If you're watching this for the first time ever, this was the CMF Live. It stands for Crypto Miles Family. And on this live, you can tune in every single night where I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about around the world, completely transforming into a digital space. And also, thank you so much to everyone that's been tuning in from the first episodes until now. We're on episode 202. We're on episode 202 right now. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Tune in for episode 203 tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, same time as usual. Honestly, thank you so much to everyone that's liked this live show on X. If you're watching this on X, thank you so much. If you've liked this live show, retweeted this live show, watching for the first time, welcome. If you like this live show, retweet this live show and follow me on X. Thank you so much. If you watch us on YouTube, you've liked this live as well. Thank you so much as well. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't followed, follow and retweet. Also, join the CMF on X communities. We have an X community page as well. Incredibly great place to be, and honestly, everybody's very respectful as well. Join the X community page for the CMF for this live. It's on my X profile, if you go to my X profile. Or join the Telegram group, also free. This live is free. The Telegram group is free. The X community page is free. You can direct message me, contact me, so on, all free. Don't worry about it. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. CMF, have a great day or a good night, depending on where you're around the world. Fabulous live tonight, everyone. Buzzing. Night, everyone. Let's go. Joe, see you tomorrow, same time as usual, brother. Scott, hope you're getting better. Definitely hope, Scott. I hope you're getting better as well, brother. Thanks, Legend, for reminding us how important it is what we hold. Shelly, let's go. See you tomorrow, sometime as usual, Shelly. Night, Miles. Find your brother. Let's go. See you tomorrow, sometime as usual as well. Night and day to all CMF. Let's go, Shelly. Good night, Miles. God bless. Can I see you tomorrow, sometime as usual, brother? Brother, I did send 2 posts in the CMF about Trump. Met Brad. Bullish day. Let's go. Fabulous live today. Everyone is buzzing now. Let's go, Joe. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. Great live, Miles, as usual. Good night, Miles and CMF. Jason, see you tomorrow, but same time as usual. Great live, as always. Have a great evening, Miles and CMF. Stormy, let's go. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. Thank you, Miles, for the best live ever. Manny, let's go. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. Good night, Miles and CMF. Thanks for all the info. Freedom forever. See you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. Good night, brother. Appreciate it. Billo, see you tomorrow, same time as usual, brother. Mike, let's go. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. Good night, Miles and family. Golden Dragon, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. Miles, it was me who said you 2 weeks ago if I should sell all my portfolio. You told me hold tight with my life, and thank you. I've just doubled my money. Let's go, Funky Brother. So it was you. I remember somebody asked me, Funky Brother asked me about a few weeks back, should I sell my assets or not? And I told Funky Brother, hell no. And I basically told him to hold on to his assets like his life depended on it. And he's held on to his assets like his life depended on it, and now he's doubled. Get better, Scott, definitely. Miles, you're outstanding as always. Scott, see you tomorrow, brother, same time as usual. And I hope you're doing better as well in the hospital. I'll see everybody tomorrow, same timing as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. Like, retweet, comment, share, subscribe, or follow. See you tomorrow, everyone. Same time as usual. Get well soon, Scott. Get well soon, Scott. Let's go, CMF. Join the CMF on Telegram or on the X community page if you already have it. And go and check out my latest tweets about me tweeting about XRP. Incredibly bullish. On the X community page for the CMF for this live. The doctors and nurses interfered a little tonight, but I got the majority of the program. Let's go, Scott. I hope you do better, brother. See everybody tomorrow, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. See everybody tomorrow, same